Hi, fellow traders. I'm going to recap my day today. Had an awesome day in a small account for a change. Um, just nailed eBay. Obviously there are a lot of tickets here, but I'll explain why I'm trading the way I am right now. And it's the way that you really have to trade to nail these, to take advantage of all of these moves. When you find a stock that's following a trend, you lock in on it and you trade that trend. And that's exactly what I did. I was up over $400 on it, but the last trade I took, which I knew was risky, because every trade you take, you're gonna lose some of the moves. The moves, it's just like a basketball bounce, and you drop it. The first time it's gonna get the biggest bounce. Second time the smallest bounce. Third time, a smaller bounce, and it's going to keep going until it flatlines. And that's pretty much what happened here on eBay. So we're going to look at eBay first. Back this up. All right, so here's the open. This is the first candle that it printed. Now, eBay wasn't on my watch list. I just didn't like what I saw on eBay when I drew the levels. And some people teach that if you have a gap on the daily, let me see if I can find a gap for you. This gap, some people say that all the price action in this gap is negated. But for me, I don't believe that, because each of these levels is a supply zone and they just don't disappear in the thin air. So this gap to me, still had levels of support and resistance in it. And as we saw today, it did. They came into play, and that's what kept the stock from moving. But that's why I didn't put it on my watch. There was another ticker that looked so much better, and I put it on my watch. And by the time I realized that it was one of them stupid 5 cent ticker stocks, it was, I think it was uh, PBY, PBYI. And it was, when I realized it was one of those 5 cent tickers that I blew up on yesterday, I knew that the only way I could trade those is swing trading. So I was looking to trade that, in my other account, looking at possible swing on it to see, how that works, with the way this 5 cent tick rule works. Trading, day trading, I just don't see it. I really don't see how we can make this work with the market the way it is. I mean, it'll have to be really strong in order for it to, do the right thing. But what I did, I did like this. Where it was gapping down, this is this orange line here. This is the 90-day from the daily chart. So what I did, excuse me, I marked out the level right here. And I made it orange so that I know my orange lines are always my 90-day. So I knew this was my 90-day support or resistance. At the time I drew it, it was support. But because this was trending down, everybody had the bias that this was going to be a short. So really, I didn't like it because it was just so much down here. But when I realized that there wasn't anything else to trade, um, this became my second choice, and this is why I focused on it, and why I use this as my guide. Because if this opened and pushed and held this level, this was going to be a long for me up to the 200. If it failed, this was going to be a short. And I was looking at the 5-minute open range breakdown. So you're probably saying, Okay, you didn't wait for this candle to close to confirm the 5-minute breakdown. Well, what I do is once I see this and this candle went up, this candle opened and it opened green and it pushed up and it tapped the 20 and then it started to sell back off. Once I saw that, I came over here to the 2-minute chart and this candle had already printed. This candle was printing. And you can see we opened right at the close and we started selling off. This was my confirmation that we were probably going to have an open range breakdown, and I took it off. I went ahead and got in. And my first target was this 29.16 level. Now, yeah, I was hoping it would hit 29, but when I saw it was running into all of this support and all of this support, as it got close to 29.16, I knew this was a strong supply zone. So I went ahead and took it off and said I was going to wait for the retest of the 9 and the VWAP before I got back in. Well, I did get in here on what I thought was going to be a rejection, but this candle opened, pulled back, and then got bought right back up to where it tested this 90 day, 29.52. So I didn't stop out because my stop was going to be a close above this. So the price action would have to claim this 29.52 level, meaning not just trade above it and come back. It had it to trade above it and close above it. And when it did that, I would take it off. But it didn't. This held, and we got the pullback. And once I saw that all of that support was still there, I went ahead and took it off there. Now, these are two solid trades with good risk reward. I was risking, probably 10 or 15 cents to make 30 or 40 cents. And, that was pretty solid risk reward. If I made money, I was going to make at least 5 or 6 times my commission cost. So, that was a very smart trade. So again, if you notice, some of these stocks will do this. They will pick a channel and pretty much trade in that channel all day. Eventually it'll break down out of it, but if you have enough room to take profit, and like here, I figured I could get 40 or 50 cents every time. And, that's what my goal was. But you can see here, I was a little bit early because I was expecting it to test the 9 and fail, not go back and test this 29.52 level from, the 90 day from the daily. But it did. My stop, I did have a good enough entry that this would not stop me out. I had enough room for it to work. I took it off here. And then I made a little mistake today. Seems like every day I make a little mistake. But what I did was I got in this for the same pattern. But because we had a lower high, I was expecting the next test for this level here to crack and, continue down. And this was the 29.16 level. I was expecting that to crack. So I got in and I went to populate my hard stop in case I had to leave or switch over to something. And I clicked market instead of stop right here. I click market instead of stop and then click buy. And it, I bought the cover with a market order, which I did gain a couple of cents, but that wasn't what I wanted. And that's why you see this triangle, then you've got another one just right up under this, and then you got the green where I bought the cover. But as soon as I got out, I, realized my mistake. I got back in, and we did start to get the move down, but it kind of got hung up here, and I went ahead and took it off here. And again, I was a little bit late on this test because all the other times it went up to the next technical level. But on the time that I waited for it, it didn't go up. And so I ended up getting a little bit of late entry. This was a little bit of a chase here. But I was expecting to lose this level now, since we went up and made a lower high and pulled back. And sure enough, we did get this level. So at this point, this is when I was up over, $400 on this. But, taking into consideration how this moved all day, I figured, well, I'm going to take it here on this retest, and let's see if we can fade this 28.75 level and maybe get down to 28.75 level and get down to the 28.50. So it was worth a shot. I was up good on the day. This trade was pretty much on the house. So it was worth the risk. And, you can see it stayed below this 26.94 level. And this is what I was basing my trade off of. And I think it was during this when I started doing my recap on Ticker TV. And I did it, and this trade was still going on, so I just left it running. But it took so long, and that video is so long, I'm not going to post it to YouTube. So if you want to see how boring a stock is trading sideways, you can go to Ticker TV and look at the latest video and just kind of fast forward to the end, and you'll see, all of this just sitting there. Pretty boring, but you can look at level 2, and it had the level 2 over here, and you could see exactly what was going on. And so that's how I learned how to identify what's going on in the stock, by reading price action. I'm looking at the chart and watching what I see on level 2 and kind of matching things up. And you can look at time and sales as well. But I did end up getting stopped out of this, and that was it for me today. I didn't think this would give any more. Once this starts trading sideways, there's just no way it's probably going to go your way. Unless a catalyst acts on it, we're either going to get a fall off a cliff, or it's just going to run up. So you just have to be ready to stop out if it builds strength, which is what I did here. Or if it's building weakness and you're short, sit there and be ready to pounce. But that was eBay. I did take another trade after that. ARIA, I was looking for a reversal here, but I caught myself. I really shouldn't have been trading this time of day. But I had the trading fever today. But luckily, I caught myself before I started doing something stupid. But this was a perfect setup. We had 5 candles to the upside, which is, our minimum is 4 for a reversal. It was slamming into a level of resistance. This is the red to green line. This is yesterday's close price. And you see the stock opened green on the day, and then it went red. Here we had this big wash, and it struggled a little bit, consolidated, pushed back up over the moving averages, fell, pulled back, and then we had to push up. So I was looking for it to either fail here or here. And I went ahead and got in here. Once it went up and pulled back, this is where I got in. I was still expecting a possible test of the 200. So I only went in 500 shares. Now typically I probably would have done 1,000 on this, but I only went in 500 with the intention of adding on a test and fail of this 200. But we didn't get it. I stuck in with my 500 shares. And then when things just started looking crazy, the price action wasn't looking good. It was kind of hanging around 70, 69, 68, 70, and it wasn't really fading, which is kind of what you see here. I went ahead and just took it off. Because I shouldn't have been in that trade. Only got $35 on it, but I shouldn't have been in that trade anyway. No, I did pull back to the 9, but tried to go green again on the day and pull back, before the bell rang. But that was my day. Um, feel pretty good. And you can see I made all of this. I traded 400 shares, 200 shares, 300 shares, um, 400, 400, 500, 500, on ARIA, but not real big share size. Guys, this was $2,500 account, that I'm trading out of. I think we're probably up to a little over 3 now, but we made almost $400 on a smaller account, and I'm only using half the margin pretty much. I'm not even maxing the margin out. I'm managing my risk. I'm nailing the setups and, making profit. Now, a lot of people say you can't do this. Sure Trader's a ripoff. You can't make money with Sure Trader. You'll never get out of the hole. The thing is, and what I've been saying all along, is that if you're going to trade with Sure Trader, you need to understand what you're doing. You need to understand the fee structure, the commission structure. And when you plan your trades, you have to make sure you take those fees into account. Like every trade I get into, I just put $13. I'm already $13 in the hole because that's how much my commissions are going to cost on average. $13 for a round trip trade. That's a buy and sell order. And then the ECN fees. And that's why I keep this up, because I don't care what I'm making during the day. I don't even want to see it. I don't want to see how much money I made. I don't want to see. I know if I lost too much money because my max loss would get hit. If my max loss gets hit on my first trade, I know that I've lost. I'm at my daily max loss and I won't trade. But as far as how much I make, I don't care. I'm trading for skill. Just like I said, it sounds like a broken record, but I trade for skill. The money's going to come. And I'm trading small. This is my small account. I'm trading small. And this has actually been the best exercise for me because I'm able to get back to who I am as a trader. This is me. What I was doing wasn't me. It wasn't working very well. When the market slowed down in the summer, I really didn't do very well. I mean, I did okay, but I didn't do very well. And I couldn't figure out, I couldn't put my finger on it. The whole time, I got away from who I was as a trader. I am this average Joe guy, just will trade small size and will nail it. That's what I am. That's what I have to get back to. And as you can see, the trades that I took on eBay, these were solid risk reward trades. I'm using solid technical levels to base my trades off of. And yeah, once I get my account size up, I'll be able to trade a little bit larger size, and I'll be able to scale out on some of these, which will save me commissions. And then everything will kind of fall into place. But me trading 19 tickets and 20 tickets is not what I normally do when the market is working. It's something that I'm just having to do now because this is how we have to grow our account. We're not getting these huge moves. And the price action is real choppy, so my trading is going to be choppy. But I can chop my way to a profit. And it's real simple. You're not scalping. You just, scalping I think is very risky. Here you're taking calculated trades based on support and resistance. And it's just as simple as that. So that's all I have to share with you today. Hopefully tomorrow we can have a strong day tomorrow. I'm hoping that we can this week end up with 3,500, and that means I'll only be $1,500 away from my 5 grand goal. And when we get 5 grand, that's when I'll start trading like I did when I actually grew this account from 5 grand. The first leg was from 5 grand to right at $78,000, and it's possible. People said it's not possible to grow $1,500, that you can make money off of it. I just proved it. I've doubled it already. In a matter of a couple weeks. It can be done, and this is a simple setup, very simple. It's the same thing that I try to teach all of the traders that hire me to be their mentor. They pay me, and I give them everything I've got, because this is a process, and if you follow it and you trust the process, you're gonna make money. That's the problem that everybody has, is they don't want to trust the process. And if you trust the process, I guarantee you will be successful. You just have to trust the process. All right, so we'll see you guys tomorrow in chat, or if you're not in chat, we'll be back. I am trying to do my recaps toward the end of the day on Ticker TV. It's a live stream, and a lot of times I'm in my last trade, so you get to see me do my last trade live. Yesterday you saw me kind of dig out of a mistake I made. Today I just got stopped out, because I took that one extra trade that probably wasn't a smart thing to do, but it was a trade on the house, and you have to take advantage of those when you get them. But I will try to do that every day. Some days I may not, because I have to pick up my kid, my son, or have to go to his school or something. But I'm gonna try to do that every day, so that I can get it out there before the market actually closes. So we'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a good evening, a great night, and we'll be back at it first thing in the morning.